So what we're going to do today is I'm going to demonstrate how to do an seat bar sensor on my T750 here. Now this seat bar sensor that I've got right here has been used since like the year 2000 up to present day. So there's plenty of them out there. Now this is a 5-volt Hall effect sensor. They're pretty robust. They don't go bad much, and we're going to get more into how to diagnose this sensor later. But let's just say you already diagnosed the sensor and you want to get this put in. And a lot of people really fight getting this spring and everything in there. And I'm just going to show you a real easy way to do it. Basically how I did it. So there's nothing wrong with the sensor on this machine, but I've just got questions. I've got asked this multiple times. Can you please show us how you do this? Because, you know, people are fighting this spring with a pry bar and all. So, yeah, sure, I'll take it out and put one in and show you how I do it. Now, if you notice, this sensor is really 4 pieces. You've got the actual sensor itself. It's got 3 pins in here. You'll notice your outside 2 pins is going to be your ground and your 5-volt input. The center pin is going to be your signal back to the ECM from the sensor itself. We have a metal bushing inside that I just dropped. Here's our magnetic pickup that goes inside the sensor, and that spins in there, and that's what tells it your seat bar is up or down. And then we've got this bushing here. This is the bushing that actually goes through the arms. When I go do a seat bar sensor, or someone thinks their seat bar sensor is bad, I buy all 4 pieces, and I take all 4 pieces with me because you never know what you're going to find. Especially this bushing. It's real easy to get this sensor. You can get this all over the internet, but you can't really find the rest of these parts very easily, you know, unless you go straight to Bobcat. So if you're going to do a seat bar sensor, take it apart and inspect your parts, but more than likely I would get all the parts at the same time. Now when you buy this magnetic piece, there's going to be a little plate that goes over here. And if you don't remove that plate, it just comes in the box from shipping. If you don't remove that plate and you put all this together, a lot of people don't even know that plate's on there. You miss it. You don't see it. You put all this together and your seat bar sensor still doesn't work. Well, what's going on? Well, now you got to take it all back apart to get this little plate that's stuck to your magnet off of there. So just a little quick tip for you if you're going to do one of those. Now coming in here, this is the spring that we talk about that we're going to fight with. You know, it's going to be kind of a pain to get out of there. So what we're going to use is a GM door spring tool. I'm going to leave a link in the description exactly where to get this. These are very cheap off Amazon. If you even think you're going to do one of these sensors, go ahead and order this door spring tool. You can see I've kind of widened the ears here just a little bit on either side, and I've also taken my grinder and kind of ground out these little U-shape here holes to make them a little more round. Now we could remove this clevis right here by removing this pin and this bushing, but what happens is if we do that, if we compress this spring, remove this clevis and just drop this down, if your arms were to come down at all, you know, if you were to bump your arms and they were to come down, that clevis is pointing right at your sensor, right down here. And if you're not careful, you got your new sensor in and you got this clevis hanging down like pointing in this direction and your arms fall, you're going to break the bottom of your sensor off. So I like to remove the whole thing by removing the Allen head right here. It's going to be a 5/16, and we're going to compress this spring, and we're going to use a 5/16 ball end Allen head. Like this right here. These are real easy to get, Home Depot, Harbor Freight, anywhere. Just a ball end 5/16, and that's what fits that screw in there. So to get started, we're going to use our spring compressor. We're going to put it up here and make sure we get it engaged in that spring really well. And using a 1/2 inch, we're going to go ahead and screw this down and collapse our spring. Okay, now that I have all the pressure off of it, using my ball end Allen head 5/16, I'm going to go ahead and back that whole bolt out of the clevis. So now we have our whole spring out. You'll notice there's a bushing on either side of the spring. We don't want to lose those. Now this is actually a loaded weapon, so I want to go ahead and loosen this bolt back up, decompress the spring, and set it aside. And now I can lower my arm bar so that we can see how to get these other two screws out a little easier. Okay, the actual bolt that holds the sensor in, it's going to be a 10mm on this side and 11mm on this side, or 7/16, I guess, whichever one you prefer to use. And then the bolt that goes all the way through the arm and the sensor is a 9/16 on both sides. Now I can pull my arm bar out and the sensor. Go ahead and remove my bushing. That was a little harder than it had to be because I should have unplugged my sensor first. So there you go. There's all 4 pieces of the sensor. Now, when we put this back together, we want to make sure that this side of the bushing fits inside the hole in the sensor itself. If you get it off to the side or something, it's not going to fit in there correctly. So make sure it just fits right inside. These 3 pieces are going to stay together. We're going to put our bushing through the arm bar. You can see it's got a tab on there, and there's a cutout here in the arm bar to fit that so that it can't spin. And also, you can see on the bottom of our magnet, you see the opening there, and that's where that tab fits into. Now we can slide the whole unit back into place. Let's get our main bolt installed. And then our sensor bolt. Go ahead and get it tightened down. Just snug. 9/16 again. Tighten up our main bolt. Now I'm going to kind of move the arm bar up. Just make sure everything's free. Looks good. Now with the arm bar in the raised position, I'm ready to collapse my spring again. I'm going to do this with the bolt inside, and then I'll pull the bolt out because I don't want to push this too far up to where I can't slide my bolt through. You know, it'll hit on the compressor itself. So I want to make sure it's fully engaged in that spring because, again, this can be dangerous. Watch how it collapses that spring right there. And that's more than enough room to get that to fit in there. So now I can pull my bolt out. And we'll get our bolt through the arm and through our spring. And you can see that gives me enough room between the clevis and the spring and the bushing to get that lined up. And using my ball end Allen head, if I can get that engaged good, there we go. We're just gonna spin that into the clevis. That's about how far I like the bolt to come through my clevis. That's about 3/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to remove my spring compressor. Okay, now we'll plug our sensor in. Turn on the machine. And of course we can see there's up, there's down. Armbar up, armbar down, light goes out. And it's always a good idea to just test it before you get out and put everything back together. I already put everything back together, but either way, I just put the same sensor back in, so I knew it would work. But that's basically how you do it without the frustration, pry bars, cussing, breaking stuff. Get yourself a spring compressor. GM door spring compressor is what this is called. And you can probably get it at any auto parts store, but I'll leave a link in the description where you can get this on Amazon. It's like $11, man. You'll have it next day. And the other thing that really helps get in there and get that bolt out is this ball end 5/16 Allen head screwdriver. So just a few quick tips, man. Just trying to help you out every chance I get, man. I've learned the hard way on this stuff, and anything I can pass down to you, I definitely do it every chance I get. So thank you for all the support. And thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.